Breakups suck. There's no way around it. It's painful to lose a person that you thought would be there forever. But there are some simple steps you can take that are guaranteed to stabilize your emotions and put your ex firmly in your rearview mirror. So start following these steps today if you want to stop thinking about the breakup, get out of that funk, and move on to start a new life. Welcome to the Breakup Corner. I'm Dave. I'm here to offer you simple breakup advice that's backed by studies and real-life experience. So if you're here for the first time, please subscribe to my channel so I can keep making videos like this one. Let's dive right into it. Step 1 is to mourn the breakup. Many people actually try to skip this step. And if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you might be one of them. You want to get past all this as quickly as possible, and I totally understand why. You don't want to really face the feelings associated with the breakup. They simply hurt too much. If you really dig in here, you're worried that you'll have to accept hard truths about yourself, your ex, and the relationship. You're worried that you'll fall into a pit of depression and you'll never recover from it. But as with so many things, the only way out is through. Of course, you can push these feelings down, ignore them, and distract yourself constantly until you stop thinking about your ex all the time. But the feelings will still be there, just buried beneath the surface. If you never face them, they'll come up in unexpected ways and end up hurting you and any future relationships you form. Don't believe me? Let's look at the science. A 2015 study out of Binghamton University looked at how men and women responded to breakups. They found that women reported more emotional pain immediately following the breakup than men did. But when they checked back months and then years later, the women were more likely to have moved on fully from the breakup. Men, on the other hand, were more likely to feel the same emotional pain when thinking about their breakup and ex. This doesn't go for all men or all women, but it does point to an important fact. You can't avoid emotional pain altogether. All you can do is put it off till later. And ultimately, by doing this, you're actually going to feel more pain in the long run. Here's another study for you. Harvard School of Public Health and the University of Rochester found that people who bottled up their emotions increased their chance of premature death from all causes by more than 30%. And the risk of being diagnosed with cancer increased by 70%. Yikes. You do not want to fall into this trap. So do what it takes to mourn the breakup. This means spending real time sitting with your feelings without trying to change them. Think about what your ex meant to you and what you lost, and then think about what you'll do next. It's gonna suck to really feel that pain that you've been avoiding, but I think you'll be surprised at how quickly it will fade once you stop running from it. Step number 2, accept that it's over. Unfortunately, this step is often the hardest. If you want to move on, you need to truly accept that the breakup happened. And you're probably saying, I want to accept this breakup, but I don't know how. What am I supposed to do here? Well, if you've truly mourned the breakup, which we covered in step 1, then you're already well on your way to making this happen. But in order to truly accept the breakup, you have to monitor your thoughts and your feelings. Every time thoughts of your ex come up, you need to remember that you've chosen to accept the breakup. You can't force thoughts out of your head, but you can deal with them as they arise, and you need to make this a habit if you want to get out of the funk and move on. So every time you think about your ex, remind yourself that while these thoughts can feel very powerful and even dangerous, they're in the past, and they can't hurt you anymore. If you're finding it really difficult to accept this, then you must take what I call a declaration. This is going to feel a little silly, but it really does make a difference, believe me. I want you to get out a piece of paper. You can use your phone, but paper is a much more effective tool here. And I want you to write down the following, filling in information based on your particular situation. My relationship with blank is over. We broke up because of blank. This makes me feel blank, maybe sad, angry, or hurt. But I've decided to move on and find happiness elsewhere. I wish them the best, but they're no longer a part of my life. I'm excited for my next chapter. Now, I want you to read this to yourself. Then I want you to say it out loud. And then I want you to say it out loud one more time. Now, anytime you start to feel like you're slipping back into old patterns, like you're thinking about your ex too much, you're playing the what if game too much, or imagining scenarios where it might maybe someday work out between you, I want you to return to the previous statements. I want you to think about them in your head or say them out loud again. Many people carry this piece of paper with them to look at when they're feeling weak. It may feel kind of stupid, but it really does help ground you, and it reminds you the path that you're actually on. Acceptance is never easy, and it's not just a one-time thing. You're gonna have to accept this again and again and maybe even again. Even if you know that you've done all you could do to accept it with your mind, body, and soul, times will come when those memories come flooding back, and it's like you're right back where you were on day one, wishing that you could just hold them in your arms. This is how the brain works. It can feel like you haven't made any progress at all, like you're gonna feel this way forever, but you won't. In fact, this is actually a very normal part of the healing process. You're working through things subconsciously, and that's why your feelings are rising and falling like the tide. But what if you're just not there yet? If you feel like you can't accept that it's over, that's okay. This is not ideal, but in some situations it's just too soon, or there's too much history, or you feel like you need to hold on to the possibility to stay alive. If that's your situation, then here's what you need to do. Ask yourself, what would I do if I did accept that it's over? How would I behave differently? How would I treat them? How would I think about them? Be really honest with yourself here and make sure you take your time. Really imagine how your life would be different, how you would be different. So I'm sure if you really accepted this was over, you'd probably stop trying to impress your ex. You'd stop looking to them for attention and approval because you'd know that there's no point, right? Why would you ever try to win someone over when you know that they're no longer going to be an important of your life moving forward? Are you still looking for the approval of your kindergarten teacher? Probably not, right? That's because they're just not a part of your life anymore. This is how you'd treat your ex if you really accepted the breakup. Now, you need to act out the life that you imagined. Pretend that you do feel this way and act accordingly. This will feel difficult, and it might often feel pointless. You may ask yourself, why should I pretend I'm over them when I know that I'm really not? Well, the more consistently you can do this, the faster that you're going to move on. Step number 3, erase them from your life. This is the most concrete step on the list, and it's the one that's most important to do as soon as possible if you want to move on from your breakup. At the same time, I know it can be difficult because you're still holding on to that idea that maybe someday, in some way, they're going to come back and you'll have another chance. If you find yourself unable to proceed with this step, go back to step 2 and repeat it. If you want to move forward, you need to stop looking backwards. You need to remove yourself from their life completely, and you need to remove them from yours. The first and most obvious step is to move out if you live together. Now, I know that isn't always possible in every situation, but until you make this happen, it's going to be an uphill battle. So do what you have to do. Accept a downgrade in your living situation if need be. It's going to make it very worth it not seeing your ex makes toast every morning. Imagine this ad for an apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows, in-unit washer and dryer, shared bathroom with your ex. See how that's not as appealing? I'm sure you wouldn't even bother booking a viewing for that place. So why are you living there now? On top of this, you need to look at other ways your life is tied to your ex's. One is your belongings. Either you have a shared property or you have each other's stuff strewn about in your living space. Maybe you borrowed their hairdryer and they have your tennis racket, whatever. Every possession you have of your ex's is a little string tying them back to you. Not only does it remind you of them every time you open the dishwasher to see their Luck of the Irish coffee mug, it also makes you think, when are they going to come pick this up? Am I going to have to see them? What am I supposed to say? So get their stuff out of your house to get them out of your head. It actually works. And the next step is social media. Many people find it really difficult to move on from breakups today because they have to see their exes on social media all the time. It can be very hard to resist the urge to look them up or check in on them to see what they're up to since the breakup. It's kind of like a scab that you just want to pick. But you need to clear them out of your social media too if you really want to fully move on. They won't be out of mind until they're out of sight. And you don't even have to block them or unfollow them for this to work. You just need to mute their accounts wherever you follow them. Now, this may feel rude or like you're losing something, but those feelings will pass as you realize how much better life is not being forced to see photos of your lost love every time you check your Instagram. Step 4, start something new. Oftentimes, we feel crushed by a breakup because we thought the relationship was our whole future. We felt like we had no other path forward than through this other person. And now that they're gone, it's like, what now? Unfortunately, you're the only one who can answer that question. But the good news is that you don't have to answer it right now. You have time to find your own path. But there is a way to get there faster. You essentially need to prime yourself to move on and start the next chapter. This will show your brain that there is life after love. You'll see that you can still act despite how you're feeling and that you will still get results. And to do this, you need to take one small action, and you need to do it today. This could be as simple as planting a plant in your garden. Actually, that might be one of the best actions you can take. It will be very powerful to see that plant grow and know that time is passing and that with every new shoot, every new leaf, you're one step closer to moving on. But if you don't have a garden, do something else. Sign up for next month's fun run and get training. You could join a photography class, make plans to have a dinner party next week. Anything that hints at a future that's different from where you are right now is a positive step, and it will help you get over your breakup faster than you can imagine. You need to start building a new future without your ex in it if you want to make it past this point, because it's coming whether you like it or not. Step 5, get some perspective. It's easy to look at breakups as 100% bad. Now, I'm not going to tell you that breakups are great and that they'll only make you stronger, because it's true. Breakups suck. There's no way around that. But there are positive aspects to just about any life change, if you know where to look. And that definitely includes breakups. First off, breakups can force you out of a rut that you were stuck in the relationship. This could actually be the reason that your relationship ended. It's very easy to get stuck in one place without even realizing it. Now you have an opportunity to shift things up and forge a new path. It might not be an ideal opportunity, but it's the one you've got. Breakups can also be wake-up calls for a lot of people. Maybe your relationship fell apart because of a personal problem you had. Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you don't have a job. Maybe you weren't an attentive partner. Take stock of your behavior in the relationship and see what needs to change, and then change it. It's not going to be easy, but it is worth doing if you want to make it work next time. Even if you never want to date again, it's worth fixing this issue just for your own peace of mind. Or maybe your relationship ended due to a lack of compatibility between the two of you. Now, this is a good time to unpack where the friction was. If you can do this effectively, you're going to find out what you need to look for and avoid in your next partner. Chances are you already have some ideas about this one. And not only breakups, but it's also easy to look at relationships in a very black and white way as well. You might think, well, the relationship is over, so I wasted those months or years on this person. As if you don't die of old age together on a porch somewhere and then your relationship meant nothing and was just a huge waste of time, money, and energy. But I think we all know that that's not true. The relationship may be over, but that doesn't mean you're back to square one. You've gained things from this relationship that you didn't have before. This could be as simple as a few good memories you shared, but it's often much more than that. I think any relationship teaches us lessons about ourselves and the world around us. And this includes even the worst relationships. It shines a light on our priorities, our shortcomings, and our needs. It shows us what we're willing to put up with and what we're not. In this way, looking back at the relationship can be very informative, but that can wait until you've healed a little. For now, just don't go around thinking that this whole relationship was a waste of your time. You aren't who you are when you first met this person, and that's a good thing. Step number 6, check in with your self-esteem. Breakups hurt the most when they damage our self-image. So if your relationship didn't even feel that significant and you're crushed now that it's over, chances are this is actually what's going on. The obvious one here is if your ex said a bunch of hurtful things during the breakup that made you feel bad about yourself. This is quite common and can really add a lot of pain to the breakup. It sucks thinking that the person who claimed to love you could think so negatively about you and actively try to hurt you in this way. But they also hurt our self-esteem because they make us feel like we're not as lovable as we thought. Even someone who's had a life full of love and happiness has that moment after a breakup when they're lying in bed alone and think, "This is it, I'm gonna be alone forever. No one could love a person like me." These thoughts will fade with time, but they can be extremely damaging to our self-esteem and self-image if we never fully process them. The good news is that just by being aware of our thoughts, we can take their power away fully. So remember that you do have value and you are worthy of love. I mean, we're here talking about your breakup, which means that someone chose to love you. Love is never a one-time thing. There will always be another opportunity. If you're watching this video, I hope I've given you some tools to help you move on. But if you're still wondering about your ex, and if you're considering trying again, you should head over to xbackquiz.com to find out exactly what your chances are. Some breakups are the end, but others are just the beginning. Again, that's xbackquiz.com to find out what your ex is thinking right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.